Hi, my name is Fedek and I will be discussing the position of the European Union in international greenhouse gas mitigation negotiations. Now, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change was formed in 1992 to include countries that were coming together to tackle environmental issues. The UNFCCC focuses on a variety of purposes, which include number one, the acknowledgement of the Earth's changing climate and the adverse effects to be a concern for all humankind. Two, the concern that human activity is directly responsible for the increase of the concentration of greenhouse gas. Number three, keeping in mind that the largest share of global emissions of greenhouse gases has originated in developed countries and also that the emissions of the developing countries are relatively low in comparison. Number four, noting that there are many uncertainties and predictions in climate change. Number five, acting on the necessity that the global nature of climate change requires the countries of the world to cooperate as much as possible to effectively and appropriately tackle this issue. Number six, recalling previous promises that entail policies on the tackling of climate change, such as keeping an eye on emissions that should not be affecting other states. Number seven, respecting the sovereignty of states when it comes to tackling climate change. The key principles outlined in the Convention include number one, the efforts of the parties included ensuring that the environment is protected and made safe for the current and future generations of humankind. Countries should therefore cooperate in respect to this principle and each perform according to their capabilities, meaning that developed countries would generally hold a bigger responsibility for ensuring that there is a global decrease of greenhouse gas emissions. Number two, to give special consideration to developing countries as they are less capable in providing resources that are necessary for tackling of such environmental issues. Number three, what I see to be the most important principle is that parties should take all necessary precautions to make sure that the climate change and all of its adverse effects are prevented or decreased. Number four, that all parties should promote as much as possible sustainable development and that they should do so in cooperation with each other. The commitment of the parties is that all parties should take into account all measures to be taken to fulfill the above purposes by developing and applying mechanisms in which so is done. And to also cooperate in preparing for the adaptation to the impacts of climate change, as well as to take all climate change issues into consideration when implementing regional, social, economic, and environmental policies. Also to include in educational systems and promote public awareness in the matter. This video will be focusing on the actions of the European Union and their effects, and as to how a group of powerful nations, the Union, influences the implementation of the policies, concepts, and purposes of the UNFCCC. The European Union consists of a vast number of countries such as Austria, Germany, Poland. The European Union has taken part of many conventions and international meetings in which the issue of climate change was addressed, and several implementation methods have been put in place in each of these conventions. And these include the Cancun Convention, Bali Action Plan, the Marrakesh Declaration, and more. The countries that make up the European Union are, for the most part, influential and powerful countries in many respects, especially financially and developmentally. The countries of the European Union are classified to be countries of global north, which means that they have a responsibility placed upon them for taking on a bigger role in ensuring that the emissions of greenhouse gases are decreased. This is partly due to the years of the industrial development that the countries of the global north have gone much ahead of than in countries of the global south. To conclude, the European Union has more responsibility to ensure that greenhouse gas emissions are decreased and that they have the capability to do so because of their power and influence.